Do you notice as you're kind of rolling your shoulder back that you hear a lot of this? Well, if you guys saw my knee video on what does popping and clicking in the knee mean, the shoulder is pretty similar. So if you didn't, here's how you should interpret that. A lot of people have popping and clicking in their shoulder. It's pretty common. The shoulder is a little different than the knee because it's a little less of a stable joint, and there's a lot more range of motion that you can kind of go through. The knee doesn't really do a lot much besides forward and backwards and a little bit of what we call rotation, but the shoulder can go all which ways, which can lead to a lot more potential for popping and clicking. The big deal with the shoulder popping and clicking is a cartilage structure known as the labrum. And a lot of times the worst thing that a popping and clicking could mean in a joint is something cartilage going on. And if there's pain that presents with the popping and clicking, you should be worried if your shoulder's kind of, blocked in some ranges of motion, or you're having a lot of overhead pain with popping and clicking, then that's something that you should maybe consider getting checked out. Could be a labrum. If it's not, you could have shoulder impingement, and just some of those tendons right here near the collarbone are where the collarbone meets the shoulder, this little joint here, which we call the AC joint. There's some structures that are kind of near that area that can cause some popping or clicking with certain ranges of motion if they are kind of getting close to the joint there, and they're having a little friction going through the joint, so that's possible. That might present with some pain too, though, so that's something that you should also consider going to get looked at. So if there's any pain with the popping or clicking or noises or cracking in the joint, that's always number one. That's when you should go get it checked out. If you notice that it pops and clicks a lot and it feels like it's kind of giving way, or that your shoulder's going to pop out of the socket, especially if you have a prior history of dislocation, or if you're somebody who's really, really flexible, that is also something that you should go get checked out. That could mean that we're looking at, maybe more of a shoulder dislocation, an unstable shoulder, or somebody who has a lot of connective tissue issues. So that is another time that you should be worried about it, and that's also what that means. But if you don't have any pain, excess movement, or issues with any specific ranges of motion, but you hear a lot of popping and clicking, it's probably just either some gas in the joint moving around, could just be some friction in different joint movements or surfaces with the cartilage, or it could be a little bit of like a impingement or a bit of a snapping tendon or something like that. And those things are not things to be worried about unless you have any of the above mentioned things. So if you have any questions about this, go ahead and reach out to me. And if you want to watch my what does your popping and clicking in the knee means, what does that mean, you can go ahead and subscribe and see that video. Thanks, guys.